Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vitvishavahay. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 11 to 15 of chapter 3. Devan bhavayatanena,
Devan bhavayatanena,
te deva bhavayantu vaha,
te deva bhavayantu vaha,
parasparam bhavayantaha,
parasparam bhavayantaha,
Shreyah paramavapsyatha,
Shreyah paramavapsyatha,
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha,
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha,
Dasyante yajna bhavitaha,
Dasyante yajna bhavitaha,
Taidattana pradayaibhyaha,
Taidattana pradayaibhyaha,
Yo bhungte stena eva saha,
Yo bhungte stena eva saha,
Yajna shishtashinah santaha,
Yajna shishtashinah santaha,
Muchyante sarva kilbishaihi,
Muchyante sarva kilbishaihi,
Bhunjate te tvagam papaha,
Bhunjate te tvagam papaha,
Ye pachantyatmakaranat,
Ye pachantyatmakaranat,
Annad bhavanti bhutani,
अन्नाद् भवन्ति भूतानि
पर्जन्यादन्नसम्भवः
पर्जन्यादन्नसम्भवः
यज्ञाद्भवति पर्जन्यः
यज्ञाद् भवति पर्जन्यः
यज्ञः कर्मसमुद्भवः
यज्ञः कर्मसमुद्भवः
कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि
कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि
ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्
ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्
तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म
तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म
नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्
नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So in the last session, we just started verse number 14 of chapter 3. It's a very powerful verse wherein he actually gives you the exact formula, the formula for prosperity. You can actually use this verse to bring about material prosperity. You can also bring about spiritual prosperity using the principles. See, ultimately, when you do your sadhana, you should always ask this question to yourself: what is the outcome of my sadhana? See, there is a difference between this and being result oriented. A rajasic person is highly result oriented. He does sadhana only for a certain result. Then you are limiting the sadhana. When you do sadhana, you should do it in a liberal way without thinking about results, because it is the best thing to do. This has been told to you many times. But every now and then, you give yourself a little time, a reasonable period of time, and every now and then you should check whether you are moving in the right direction. How will you check? How will you know whether you are going in the right direction? Only if you know where you are going, you will be able to assess. So, when you enter the spiritual path, the goal or the result, the fruit, whatever word you want to use, should be fixed by you. There is a difference between fixing a result and becoming result oriented. Result orientedness is actually a rajasic quality, and fixing a result and functioning is a sattvic quality. Result means goal. So when a rajasic person fixes a goal, now that kind of excites him so much that he goes out of control, and due to his excessive thinking about the goal, he is unable to focus on his present activity. See, ultimately you need to act properly, no? Only then you will be able to achieve any result or goal. So that is called result orientation. Whereas what a sattvic person does is that he also fixes a goal. There is a clear-cut result which he wants. And then when he does the sadhana or whatever the activity, the set of activities to reach that goal, he focuses on the quality of that action. The goal is there. So every now and then he also checks up. Am I moving in the right direction towards the result which I wanted? So the problem is when Lord Krishna talks about just acting, not thinking about the fruit, many people have misunderstood that to be don't have a goal at all or don't have a fruit at all in mind. Now then your action will be very unproductive. There will be no purpose, there will be no meaning in your action. See, if Krishna is talking to Arjuna here, definitely he has an outcome in mind. His goal is to uplift Arjuna, to bring Arjuna out of this mental stupor. Now supposing Krishna has no goal, now what is he going to talk? How will he talk that which is relevant to Arjuna's situation? But while talking, if Krishna were to keep thinking about whether this is having a good effect on Arjuna or not, all the time if he is doing that, then that is called result orientation, which he says should be avoided. So this is one such verse, verse number 14, where he is stressing on prosperity, the result of your sadhana, which is prosperity. So all along he has been asking you to do yajna, which is the main sadhana. Now he says, if you do yajna, these are the steps, this is the path which you will be traveling in, which you are supposed to travel in, and this yajna will bear these positive results, which is nothing but prosperity at all levels, material and spiritual. Now you may ask, what is the necessity to give this? That's why I first answered that question, the difference between being result oriented and having a result in mind. So a sattvic person is very clear about what he or she wants. There is no doubt about that. Not merely the ultimate goal, but in every area of life, a sattvic person fixes clear-cut goals. This is what I want to experience. This is what I want to achieve. These are the results which I want. That's how you can become a creator of your destiny, no? But when you get into action, all the time if you're going to think of the fruit, of the result, then you cannot focus on the action. So all along he has been telling you about yajna, the different aspects of yajna, within that a very important principle of parasparam. What is parasparam? And based on that, what are the three approaches which are there, the tamasics, rajasic and sattvic. All that has been explained. Now in this verse, even before we get into the deeper aspects of the verse, the first thing which you can see is that he is asking you to pause and understand that this is the purpose of asking you to do this sadhana. Without understanding the purpose of your action, that action cannot be effective. See, if you are attending these Sunday sessions, why are you attending these Sunday sessions? You should be very clear. These sessions are helping me in my life. They are helping in increasing the quality of my life. What do you mean by that? It is helping me to resolve the various issues of life, be it in the financial aspect or be it with respect to relationship, be it with respect to career. Like this, when you are very clear, this is something very good for me, it is helping me to evolve. So the more you understand the purpose, now what happens is when you listen, when you attend these Sunday sessions, you will do it with so much of vigor, intensity and focus. You will be able to derive maximum benefit out of these sessions. So every now and then you should pause and check whether you are going in the right direction. This is an important principle in the yogic path. This is actually a yogic principle. This you can apply in any field. Without periodic assessment, there is always a danger of going astray, going far away from whatever path you have chosen. And then after a long time you get the knocks and shocks, you don't get the desired results. Then you wake up and you realize, but by that time a lot of damage has been done. This is a very common scenario which people face generally in life, and also sadhaks when they do the sadhana. Because of this lack of periodic assessment, they get to know their mistakes after a long time. See, whenever you get into any action, right at the outset you will not be able to perform that action in a perfect way. You will be making a lot of mistakes and you will be learning from those mistakes. If you don't try at all, if you think that let me learn everything perfectly then I will act, you will never be able to act. So with basic sufficient knowledge, when you get into action, there will be a lot of mistakes because there is a big difference between theory and practice. And when you make those mistakes, you keep learning from those mistakes, and that will slowly purify your activities. It will bring perfection in whatever it is that you are doing. This is how anybody achieves anything in life. Practicing. Why do you require practice? Abhyasa. If you are able to do something in a perfect way, right, in your first attempt, you don't require practice. The question of practice comes only to perfect. So even when all the principles are said, for example, it is said, ensure that you have positive thoughts, ensure that you have positive emotions. That doesn't mean the next second now you will be able to practice it 100%. No. When you try it, there will be a lot of mistakes. You will find that in spite of your best efforts, your emotions are turning towards the negative. Your thoughts are going in the opposite direction. Immediately you should not get frustrated. That is a process of growth. So keep on learning from your mistakes and keep growing. But how do you know whether you are performing a mistake or not? Through periodic assessment. See, this is actually given in the management principles nowadays. But as I told you, the ancient wisdom deals with the highest management principles. So even in the Bhagavad Gita, you will find that Krishna keeps on talking and then he pauses. Arjuna asks a question. Why is that? Because that is where Krishna is able to assess whether Arjuna is following his line of thought, whether Arjuna is thinking something else, or whether he has totally misunderstood. All those things become clear when there is an opportunity given for him to pause and then think and ask. So, having discussed about yajna for so long, now he is telling you yajna will give prosperity. What is the result of yajna? If you consistently convert your activities into yajna type activities, what will be the outcome? That is prosperity. So it becomes a very beautiful yardstick with which you can measure whether you're moving in the right direction or not. A sensible person will always follow these 3 points. That is, number 1, he'll fix a goal. He'll be very clear about what he wants, the result. Number 2, the plan of action, and he will plunge into the activity. And when he is acting, he will not think about the result. And number 3, periodic assessment, pausing and ensuring that whatever actions he is performing, they are in line with his goal, whether they are fetching him the correct results. So when you fix a goal, you get a direction. When you put a plan of action and get into the activity, you are actually progressing. And when you do this periodic assessment, which is pausing and assessing, what happens is you are able to spot your mistakes before they start giving very negative results. Because certain things, when you allow them to grow, thereafter it will become very difficult to change. See, if you take a ball and let's say you throw it for you bounce it. Now, when you bounce it and it's going down, you're standing on top of the stairs, and you're bouncing the ball. When it bounces the first time, it's easy for you to catch. Supposing you miss that, it will become very difficult for you to catch it in the next bounce. You will have to run down. If you miss that, the third bounce, it almost becomes impossible. It will quickly gather momentum and go down. Then you can only catch it down. And thereafter again you will have to come up. So to avoid wastage of energy, our great yogis suggested periodic assessment as a yogic principle in whatever it is that you're doing. So generally in life itself, you should every now and then pause and check whether you are going in the right direction. What are the activities I am doing? Are they being done in the proper way? Are they fetching me the right results? So, the moment you ask that question, then in case you have not fixed a goal, you will not be able to answer this question. So, then you stop that activity and first bring in your goal into the picture. So, you will find that in the Bhagavad Gita, in many places, you will find such verses where it may look apparent, it may look contradictory. That is, it's an apparent contradiction, obviously, because when he's talking about focus on action, don't focus on result, and suddenly when he talks about results, you will get confused. That way, even in the second chapter, he talked of the Sthita Prajna. That is your goal. Fix a goal, he says. Then Karma Yoga, this chapter, which is get into action. And then every now and then he stops and he is asking you to assess. See what a beautiful system this is. If you want to progress in any field, just follow the system. It'll save a lot of time, it'll save a lot of effort, it'll save a lot of energy, that is wastage of energy. You will be able to conserve a lot of energy and achieve more in life. So, what is he saying here? Annad bhavanti bhutani. From food arise beings. From food arise beings. Parjanyat anna sambhavaha. From rain arises food. Yajnat bhavati parjanyah. From yajna, sacrifice, arises rain. Parjanya means rain. Yajna karma samudbhavaha. Yajna, sacrifice, arises out of action. Karma samudbhavaha. Karmanah samudbhavaha yasya tat karma samudbhavaha. Means from all the activities, yajna is one type of activity. That's what he's saying. Yajna comes out of action. Means if you avoid activity, you can never do yajna. That is the implication. We will come to that. But first, you should get an overview of what this verse is trying to tell you. So, this is the very mechanism of how yajna gives prosperity. As I told you in the last session, this can be applied at the macrocosmic level, it can be applied at the microcosmic level in any situation externally, and also at the individual level, that is internally. So, last week I had given you a homework just to read through this and ponder over this casually. If you have done that, now these verses will become even more interesting for you, because generally when we put some effort and we are not able to unravel the deeper messages, and then when things are explained, you will have a lot of value for that. So, I had given you that part of the homework to increase the value, so that, see, when you understand this with more value, you will only benefit more, no? And also the second thing, which is, if you notice, he is following the reverse flow. Actually, if you go from backwards, that is the normal flow. From actions arises sacrifice. This should be step number 1. And then from sacrifice arises rain, number 2. From rain arises food, number 3. I am just reading this from back, And then from food arise beings. This is the last step. This is the logical flow. But he has put it in the reverse order. Now, what is the necessity to put it in the reverse order? When you just read the translation, for 1 second, you know, I asked you to read it, no, and also observe what is the effect which it creates in your mind. Now, you would have observed that when you read the reverse flow, from food arise beings, from rain arises food, from sacrifice arises rain, and then sacrifice arises out of action. When you read that, for 1 second it would have been a little confusing. And the result of that which you would have experienced is more mental alertness and concentration. So this is a very powerful yogic technique. Many yogis do this. The reverse technique, to increase the alertness of the mind, to increase the concentration and focus of the mind. See, what happens is, when you are going in a particular direction, generally the mechanical attitude will set in. That is called inertia, mental inertia. See, how does physics define inertia? Whenever an object is at a state of rest or of uniform motion, then it's called inertia. It's a beautiful definition. If an object is at rest, then it is called inertia. If the same object is in uniform motion without any change, then also they say it is inertia only. The same law is applicable at the deeper level also with respect to your mind. When you are in inaction, tamas, because of laziness, that is also inertia. That is a state, directly a state of tamas. You can understand that. But when you are continuously acting in a uniform way, without any awareness, when the awareness goes away, it becomes mechanical. Then also you are in a state of tamas only. So just because you are acting doesn't mean you overcome tamas. Overcoming tamas means overcoming inertia, not merely getting into action. So when you don't get into action, that is one type of inertia. When you keep on acting in a mechanical way, that is another type of inertia or tamas. So our yogis have given various techniques for us to get out of this tamas completely. So when a person is not acting at all, the yogi prods him or her and says, you have to get into action. But when he starts acting, now he is just mechanically acting. No purpose. The same tamas starts manifesting in a different way. When a yogi locates that, now he uses many other techniques to get a person out of this kind of inertia by increasing the mental alertness. When you increase the mental alertness, bring in more awareness, deliberation in your actions, that is when you can remove this mental inertia or tamas of being mechanical, of having a mechanical attitude. So this is one such technique. Normally, you say step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Suddenly, when the master says step 4 comes from step 3, step 3 comes from step 2, step 2 comes from step 1, your mind is given a shock. It's a kind of an awakening, In case you have fallen off to sleep, you suddenly become alert. I'm just dramatizing it at the mental level. What is he saying? And you struggle a bit to understand even the basic logic of what he is giving. The reason is the mind is always used to going forward. See, that's how even time has been designed, no? Normally. Time keeps on moving forward, not backwards. So, in life also you do one activity, then go to the next, then go to the next. That is how you keep moving around in your life. Age, you just go on aging this in this direction, forward direction. You don't age backwards. So your mind is also used to that way of functioning. So when you suddenly reverse that flow, the mind becomes very, very alert. This is called reverse analysis. Planning backwards. Incidentally, when you do this reverse analysis, when you gain this ability to move backwards with the same ease as with which you're moving forward, now it gives you so much of inner power. You're walking forwards, but there is one yogic kriya. See, to develop this sharpness, our yogis in the system of yoga, I'm talking about the physical part now, where there are many kriyas, many movements, which they have given. This system is called the Hiranyagarbha yoga, which is the most ancient yogic system. Now, in that, what our yogis have given us to practice backward walking, literally walking backwards physically. Just take a few steps and then do the forward walking, again do the backward walking, sideways walking, walking in different directions. Now, the same technique is adopted even in martial arts. They give practice to a student to move in different directions and become comfortable with that. So, if you can try it after the session is over, you can just try it and see. You take 10 steps forwards, it is very easy. Now, you take 10 steps backwards. Now, you will find it a little difficult. It's a little more challenging to the mind because you're not used to that. And when you advance in your sadhana, the very reverse analysis or moving backwards is applied at the deep level of meditation. It's a very advanced technique called Pratiprasava Sadhana, where you start moving back in time from this moment onwards. And whatever impressions you have gathered, whatever karmas you have gathered at different periods of time, first in this life, then in your mother's womb, then in all your previous births, now you start releasing all of them one by one. So a yogi is able to do this time travel in the backward direction. And this is used for self-purification. See, some people ask me, is time travel possible? Yes, well, everyone is doing time travel. Aren't you traveling in time? But you are able to travel only in the forward direction. But a yogi sits in meditation and he starts traveling backwards. And what is interesting is, when you start traveling backwards with full awareness, this is an internal process I am talking about. Now, you will start becoming aware of all the dirt, impressions which you have stored at different periods of time which you may not be aware of right now. Suddenly, when you're doing sadhana, many people have reported, suddenly they remember, oh, when I was 10 years old, this person came and insulted me. How dare he insulted me? Suddenly a thought will come. For so many years, you wouldn't have even thought about that. So when you do the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana, this automatic time travel happens at a pace with which you can handle it. And it is possible to travel back through time to all your past births and release the entire load of karma. It is only through sadhana this is possible. That technique, that principle is a very advanced principle called Pratiprasav sadhana. In Jainism, Mahavira called it as Jati Smaran. Buddha called it as Jatak Smaran. It's all the same principle. Here Smaran doesn't mean merely just remembering. That is just daydreaming. We are talking of a sadhana wherein you actually make your inner consciousness or the soul travel back in time. So now I'm talking about very advanced practices. In future, definitely all those will be taught to you. The various sessions we are having every Sunday, and then the various empowerment sessions we are having, all those will prepare you. And when the time comes, the Pratiprasav sadhana also will be taught, in different stages. That has to be done under the guidance of the Guru, because one slip here, one slip there, if your consciousness gets stuck in some time zone, now it can cause a lot of issues. So one has to very, very carefully do that sadhana. So this practice which he is giving here of reading this backwards is a very small step. I would say it's a baby step towards mastering the Pratiprasav sadhana, which you will anyway be doing at an advanced level. See, we have to move from kindergarten to PhD, no? You can't straight away jump to PhD. That is why I just asked you to read the translation of this verse as it is, just with an awareness that he is moving backwards. Of course, when we are analyzing this verse, we will go from step 1 to the final step, because that will make it easier for analysis. But whenever you are reading this verse, the natural structure of the verse is in such a way that you will be forced to do this reverse analysis, and your mind will become very alert. So through this, you can also derive a very powerful sadhana principle. What is the principle behind using this reverse analysis? He does not want your mind to get into any mechanical attitude. So what is the sadhana principle which we can derive? Never allow your mind to become mechanical. Whenever you find your mind becoming mechanical, challenge it. Throw some challenge to it. Something which is easy, which is more than what is easy for it to do. This is technically called coming out of your comfort zone. Why is it that you are unable to progress spiritually? Why is it that you are unable to build good habits? Because you don't put any effort to come out of your comfort zone. You see any achiever in any field in life. How did they become achievers? If they had just been very happy to stay in their comfort zone, they wouldn't have grown at all. It is in challenging your mind, it is in throwing small challenges, higher challenges to your mind and make it stretch, make it come out of its comfort zone and do some practice that you will grow. See, even when the physical asanas are done for we are talking about the aspect of flexibility here. When you start off doing a particular asana, let us say you do a forward bending asana, you will be able to do to a certain extent. Now, if you just do it to that extent and leave it at that, you will never be able to increase your flexibility. So, once you reach your comfort zone, what is suggested by our yogis is, let's say you bend forward and let's say this is your body, this is your back and you are able to bend up to this much. This is your comfort zone. Now, what they are saying is just bend a little more, not too much, because if you bend way beyond your capacity, you can cause injury to yourself. So, a little more. What we call as a comfortable stretch. Stretch yourself a little more to come out of your comfort zone. So, when you do that for a few weeks, this is your comfort zone, now stretching a little bit. After a week or two, or even after a few days, this will become your comfort zone. Now, easily you will be able to do that much. Then again, stretch it a little more. So, when you follow this process of comfortable stretch, you will never injure yourself. There is no competition, first of all, with anyone else. It's very foolish to see somebody else and try to emulate that person, whether it is a physical asanas or whether it is any other thing which you are doing in life. You will have to see what your level is, what your comfort zone is, and put in that effort to come out of it. So, this is a beautiful sadhana principle that you can start following from this moment onwards in your life. In any field, you will be comfortable at a particular level. Now, stretch yourself a little more. I am very comfortable doing this activity. Now, make it a little more challenging. When you practice this principle day by day, you will start growing. See, you will grow in a small way every day, but when everything is put together suddenly, the impact of that will be tremendous growth. That is what you should do when you are doing this periodic assessment, whether all these small things which you are doing, are they yielding proper results. If the results are not proper, then obviously there is something wrong with the efforts you are putting. So, as a homework you can take it up. Just find out what your comfort zone in life is in different areas. Generally what happens is, for example, work-wise, finance-wise, when a person retires, they have kept the retirement age as 60 or something, no? When a person retires and thereafter he stops activity, then after a few months he becomes very comfortable with not doing anything. That is not good for the mind. So ask yourself, what are all the areas where I want to grow? Whether it is finance, whether it is relationships, even your personal habits. Where all am I tamasic? Where all am I being rajasic, unnecessarily getting worked up? So what is my comfort zone and what is that comfortable stretch in that area? Let me start applying myself. After a few weeks, again you will get into a comfortable zone. Comfortable zone means, comfort zone means being in the state of inertia or tamas. So you can get into tamas at any level. A person may be at 50% level, but if he gets into that state of inertia, he is very comfortable with that, no more growth, then he is gotten into a state of tamas. A person may be at a 10% level, but if he is using this principle to move up, then he has overcome tamas. So at any level, this inertia or tamas can attack you and quickly stop all your growth. So it is a beautiful sadhana principle which he has used here to get you out of your comfort zone. Week after week, these Sunday sessions are going on. After a while, it becomes very mechanical. You just get up every Sunday, you switch it on and you're watching. Now he is making you more alert. So that, see, when you keep on practicing this, what will happen is, every sadhak will experience this. At some point of time, you will not even require to do all this. Your mind will become very alert and aware every moment. A yogi's mind is so sharp, alert at all times. This is a very important prerequisite for higher meditation. Otherwise, when the higher energy is given, when you move to the higher levels, you will fall off to sleep. You will get into inertia. So you take this up as your homework for this week, for the whole life actually, which is never ever be happy being in your comfort zone in anything. Day by day, keep on conquering one weakness, and within a reasonable period of time, you will find that your whole personality would have got uplifted. So this is one example, the reverse analysis method which he is using here. So I have also given you the root principle behind this, which you can apply in your life. If you follow this principle, you will never get bored in life, because you are constantly going to challenge yourself in something or other. You will constantly be learning something new. So even when you are doing your Yoga Sankirtan sadhana every day, now after a while it may become mechanical. So bring in that mental alertness. The moment you bring in that alertness and awareness, the mechanical nature will go away. So what is he saying here? We'll first look at the verse at a glance, that is, we'll get an overview. When we are looking at it at a glance, we will use the reverse analysis method only. May be a little difficult for you, but come out of your comfort zone. After that, we will go in the usual order and go into the deeper aspects of each of these steps. So the first thing which he is saying is, from food arise beings. Annat bhavanti bhutani. Now, the literal meaning of that is, when you eat food, the life is sustained. Without food, how can you exist? That is the literal meaning. Now, to say that you don't require Lord Krishna, obviously there is something much more deep in this. So, from food arise beings, number one. So, beings is the result and food is there. So, from food arise being, and then from rain arises food. Only when it rains properly, food will come. Now, from sacrifice arises rain, from yajna arises rain. This is where the confusion will be, because many people have asked this question as to when you do the ritual, will rain come? Now see, these things are told in a very figurative way, in a poetic way. These are like formulae, Mathematically, when they say a plus b the whole square is equal to a squared plus b squared plus 2ab. Now this formula is given. There a and b, they are not referring to the English alphabets. Even though those alphabets are used, they are referring to numbers. It's something totally different. If you take it literally as English alphabets, and if you say what is exactly the meaning of a squared in English, according to English language, if you ask such questions, now those questions are meaningless. So he is taking an agricultural metaphor. What does he exactly mean by from rain arises food, from yajna arises rain? So as of now you just read the translation. When we go to the individual aspects, it will be explained in detail to you, because when he says parjanya, he is referring to something else, to those things which are conducive to give prosperity. So we will see that. And then finally what he says is from action arises sacrifice. The sacrifice is coming out of action. So if you notice, there is one word which is being used in all these steps. That is the word bhava. See, annat bhavanti bhutani. Okay. Then parjanyat, that is from rain, anna sambhavaha. Again the word bhava is used. There is a slight variation of that word, sambhavaha. Then you see, third one, yajnat bhavati parjanyaha. Again, the word bhava is used. Yajnaha karma samudbhavaha. Again, the word bhavaha is used. There is again a variation. Bhavaha and then udbhavaha, samudbhavaha. He uses the word samudbhavaha. But it is all derived from that word bhava only. It's a further development. So, the first thing that you notice when you use the yogic approach is this word bhava, which is being repeated, and that some changes are made to that word bhava. Some prefixes are added or some kind of changes are made to give certain other implications. So that is the key, the word bhava. Now bhava literally means arising. That's why the translation we have just used arise, because there is no confusion. But bhava also means prosperity, welfare. There are so many dimensions of bhava. Depending upon how he has used the word bhava, those dimensions will be revealed to you as we go along in this verse. So when he says from food arise beings, now there, if you take the literal meaning of bhava as producing or coming out, it is too obvious. When you eat food, you will sustain, your life is sustained. You don't require the Bhagavad Gita for you to know that. But when the other dimension is applied, that is prosperity, then this becomes more deep. From food, let us call it X. From X, the beings can become prosperous. Why I am saying X is because there even food is not literally food. It means something more. So whatever it is, from that beings become prosperous. That is the result of yajna. So we start off with yajna, and what is the result which we want to achieve? Prosperity of beings. Beings means in general, but as far as you are concerned, your prosperity, your welfare. This is what I told you, a periodic assessment. Whether you are doing sadhana in the right way or not, how will you determine that? He is giving you a very simple yardstick. Are you becoming more prosperous at all levels? If the answer is yes, then you're moving in the right direction. See, the word bhava can be applied at the spiritual level and at the material level. So, bhava has so many dimensions, and according to the context, the meaning will keep on changing. This is the most interesting part of this verse, because within this verse several steps have been given. The same word is used in different ways. And you need to have the yogic approach, otherwise you will not really be able to get the deeper messages out of this verse. So, the first dimension of bhava is prosperity, welfare. So, is your life becoming better? Is your life becoming more prosperous? Generally, we associate prosperity only in terms of wealth, but our yogis use the word prosperity to mean everything. Why? You see, because when we say wealth, your idea would be just a money part. But no, yogis consider everything as wealth only. Different forms of wealth. They consider knowledge as intellectual wealth. They consider good emotions as mental health, the emotional health. They consider yajna as karmic wealth. You know, we were talking about karmic surplus, no, in the previous verses. That is wealth at the karmic level. When you fill yourself with prana shakti, that is wealth at the pranic level. So you should first understand the implication, the wider implication of this word bhava. Only then you will be able to follow the remaining verse, because this verse is quite difficult to explain, because since he has used the reverse order, and we will have to analyze it in the normal way, then only it becomes easy, otherwise it will cause a lot of confusion. And he has used these kinds of techniques, like for example using the same word several times in the verse to mean slightly different things. More, it starts off with the basic meaning, and then the implication is slightly different. So when these kinds of techniques are used, the mind will get more confused. See, if you don't go into the depth, if you just merely read the translation and you are happy with that, then there will actually be no confusion. It's because you have a very superficial understanding of this. Everyone takes it very literally. Oh, what a great truth Krishna has given. From food arises beings, and rain will give food. Is that Krishna's level to give these basic things? You don't require the Bhagavad Gita for that. You should learn to think deeply. Original thinking, deep thinking is extremely important to unravel the deeper messages given by our masters. So, yajna, from all kinds of activities, there is one type of activity called yajna. Now, when you do that, that will result in something, that will result in something. What will be the final result? Prosperity, your prosperity. Instead of the word beings, bhutani, you put yourself there. Is my life becoming better? Ask yourself. By attending these Sunday sessions, is my life becoming better? Supposing a person says, Sir, I have been attending these sessions for last 5 years. Absolutely no change. Then there is either something wrong with these sessions, or something may be wrong with the person who is conducting the sessions also, or there is something wrong with respect to your approach. Chances are there is something wrong with your approach, because we are basing this whole thing on the yogic approach, the same method which our masters have used, which our great yogis have used. So that system cannot go wrong. See, one individual can go wrong, but the system cannot go wrong, So you can start practicing this from this moment onwards, which is becoming more aware of whatever you're doing. So every day you're doing your Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana. I've been doing it for last 6 months. Are there positive effects? If the answer is no, then check. Where am I going wrong? Am I releasing things properly? Or am I just listening to it like listening to some music? Because the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana is a dhyana method. It is not mere music. The other kinds of Sankirtan, like you have Bhajana Sankirtan, you have Nama Sankirtan, those two are more of music that creates a spiritual upliftment in a different way. But the moment you enter into Dhyana Sankirtan, there itself the focus starts shifting. Then when you come to Yoga Sankirtan, the focus is on energy, it's energy based. It's not merely singing. So how much are you able to attune to that frequency? That is the question, because that is what will give you the right kind of results. Okay, so we'll stop with that here. Even though we have not gone into the individual steps, just by looking at this verse and applying the yogic approach, so many messages have been given to you. And very powerful, practical points which can genuinely add a lot of value to your life. So reflect on them, and in the next session we will take up one step at a time, and we will see the sequence, what he is giving, and within each sequence so many interesting principles will be there. So this verse, actually there are many verses within this verse, we can say. And what is interesting is the next verse also he will be continuing from here, and he will uplift your consciousness to a different level whatsoever. And then again he will bring you back to Karma Yoga. It's like a full cycle which he is going to establish. So now, before we do the Nididhyasana meditation, I'll take up one question. So this question has been asked by KB Raman sir. Namaste Yogishri, Hari Om. In today's satsang, he has asked this question a few weeks back. So in some satsang, you almost devoted more than 30 minutes just to clear some of the ideas in the seeker's mind about the concept of a yogi. And you also told us that as one progresses in sadhana, one will be able to become more subtle. I have one small issue to ask. As we intensify the sadhana, as I become more and more subtle, I also become more and more sensitive to things and people around. Very interesting, That also pushes me to avoid certain types of people and situations, as they are not in line with our thinking and behavior, and their responses in interactions are painful. But at the same time, I am in a compulsive situation under some obligation to be in that situation, be it professional or personal, and with those people around only, at least for now. How to balance everything? How to deal with this sensitivity issue? I hope I am able to express myself fully. For example, it is just like one person who took a bath and is wearing good dresses is under compulsion to travel in a railway compartment with a group of people who have not taken a bath for days together. It's a very simple example which he has given, but I think it drives home the point very well. So I asked this question because you are one yogi who advocates not to escape from any situation and face everything as it is and continue the sadhana. Nothing will be a hindrance for a keen seeker. So how to deal with this? Pranams. So he has asked a very good question. This will be extremely useful for everyone. Now before I get into the main question, sir, finally what you said is you are one yogi who advocates not to escape from any situation and face everything. Actually, that is not true, sir. Every yogi says this only. Not now. Right from beginning, all yogis, all masters have said, don't escape. What is Krishna trying to tell Arjuna? Arjuna wants to escape from the situation, right? Krishna says, no. You as a warrior, you have a duty here, fight, face the situation. Don't escape. That is the very background of the Bhagavad Gita. And if you go to the Upanishads, it's the same thing which they say. Live 100 years. May you live 100 years. Living for 100 years, that's a poetic way of saying. What does it mean? Face life, live your life. So no master, no yogi has ever talked about escapism. And those who talk about escapism cannot be yogis. This is a thumb rule. If a person says leave everything, escape and run away, such a person is not a spiritual person. He is not even gotten into basic spirituality. Then why talk about whether he is a yogi or not? It's not possible. So whatever is being given here, it's not the personal opinion of one individual, Yogishri. No. He is only following the tradition of the yogis. And all yogis have not given their opinions just like that. They are only talking about the basic truths of life. And the fundamental principle of life is that you have to face it. If you escape from life, then where is the question of self-improvement? Where is the question of self-purification? So all masters, true masters, have given the message of facing situations, not escaping. The followers may have misunderstood, or some false masters, false gurus may have come and preached spirituality in a wrong way. We are not concerned about all that. This is an opportunity for you to get to the basics. Now, basically, there are several questions which you have asked within this. So, I will give a simple answer to this. The detailed principles will anyway be coming in many of these verses. So, when those points are also added on to whatever I am going to give you now, your understanding will become more deep. So, basically what you are saying is that when you intensify your sadhana, you become more sensitive to things and people around you. So, when you become more sensitive, then it means you start getting affected by their behavior also. So, how do you solve this? This is one main question which you have asked. Now, when you increase your sadhana, that is when you progress, when you do intense sadhana, and as you progress, you will not become sensitive. Actually, your awareness will increase. If you are sensitive, I am not talking of being sensitive to others' emotions. See, when you are sensitive to others' feelings and emotions, that is a positive thing. Here we are talking about being sensitive in the sense reacting negatively to everything. In that sense, sensitive, when something starts affecting you. So, when you do your sadhana in the right way, you will actually not become sensitive. Your awareness will increase. So, when your awareness increases, there is a chance of slipping and becoming sensitive. That is why I am saying periodic assessment is very important. See, the same principle which was being told to you today can be applied here. You are doing a periodic assessment. You are saying, I have been doing sadhana for so long, now I have become very sensitive. It means there is something wrong in the sadhana which you have done. You have not released those factors which are affecting you. So, it is true, when you do sadhana properly, your awareness will increase. But side by side, there is one more quality which will also increase, that is your detachment, your objectivity. So, when you become aware, when you increase your awareness and when you also increase your objectivity and detachment, then you will be aware of all the faults and the good things which are there in others, which are happening everywhere. You will be able to see what is black, what is white, what is the right thing, what is the wrong thing, everything you will be able to see. But the detachment and objectivity, they will act as barriers. You will not be affected by that. So, if you do the sadhana in the right way, your sensitivity will decrease. Rather, the other quality which I was talking about, that is becoming sensitive to others' emotions, that will increase. So, what has happened is, as you are doing the sadhana, the sensitivity is a weakness which has been there right from your young age. I am not talking of the particularly the person who has asked this question. This is a common message to all the sadhaks. So when a person has this weakness of sensitivity, and then when he does a sadhana, the energy will start flowing, and whatever negative energy you have stored within yourself will start coming out. So the sensitivity aspect is coming out with greater force because the energy is pulling it out. So what should you do? You should continue with your sadhana and release this sensitive nature of yours, sensitive, that is being sensitive and getting affected. That will take a while. And as you start releasing this sensitive nature of yours, you will find that the objectivity and detachment will also increase. Then when you look at the world, when you look at others, you will see both the good and bad. That's your awareness, but you will not be affected by that. So I want you to think about whatever point has been given to you, sir. That is, you are right when you say that when you intensify your sadhana, I have become more and more subtle, you are saying. That is correct. But I have also become more and more sensitive. Means you have slipped there. Actually, you have not slipped. Because you have become subtle, you are absorbing more energy. So, whatever negative things are there, like giving sensitive reactions, it could be several other things. For each sadhak, whatever he or she has stored will all start coming out. Sometimes anger will come out, irritation will come out, fear will come out, jealousy will come out, anything. And it will, if that is very deep, it will keep on coming every now and then. What is the practice? You need to release them. So sensitive, becoming more sensitive, you are not actually becoming more sensitive as you are saying. You have become more aware of your sensitivity. See, this is something which all sadhaks should make a note of. When you do your sadhana, you will find that things which you didn't know earlier about yourself will all start coming out, negative things. One person actually told me, sir, I was more peaceful before doing Yoga Sankirtan sadhana. After starting this Yoga Sankirtan sadhana, now I have become more agitated. Why? You have not become more agitated. All those agitations, all those stress, everything was there within you, but you are not aware of all that. As you have started doing your sadhana, the awareness is increased, which is a very positive thing. So now, when you progress in the right way, having made the periodic assessment, you can release this sensitivity and become objective. Now, as far as whether you need to accept the other person and not do anything about it, or whether you should put any effort to change the other person or the situation, all that depends on various factors. But before changing others, you have to get the capacity to change. No? And what gives you that capacity to change? Your inner strength. If you are sensitive and if you are reacting negatively, then you are reducing the chances of becoming influential and changing others for the good. So our yogis say, first step, accept, become detached, accept and become peaceful. Next step, you see what you can do to correct the situation. See, when Arjuna completely collapsed, now Krishna didn't react negatively to that. He didn't now get stressed up, and supposing Krishna had got stressed up and asked Arjuna, oh, why are you behaving like this? Oh Arjuna, please don't do this. He didn't say all that. Actually, You read the second chapter. Krishna starts off with a smile. For one full chapter, Arjuna is so stressed and he has talked so many things. And what is Krishna doing? He's smiling, starts off with a smile. That smile is so important there. It shows his objectivity. It shows his lack of affectation. He is sensitive to Arjuna's emotions. That way he is sensitive. But he is not giving a sensitive reaction to that, an affected reaction. Rather, he chooses how he should react. He chooses how he should respond. So, by maintaining the calmness and composure, he actually increases the chance. He increased his chance of Arjuna reacting positively to whatever wisdom or advice which he is going to give. The same advice he had given in an agitated way, we can't even imagine that, Then how would have Arjuna reacted? So, this is a good question which I have asked, sir. This is a part and parcel of the spiritual path, spiritual growth. Every sadhak faces such situations. So, as and when they come up, you get more insight into sadhana and how you can refine your approach. And when you do the empowerment programs, that will help you to release these things at a very fast pace. See, whatever you are able to achieve doing, let's say, 1 year of personal sadhana, in one session of empowerment, that result can be achieved. That is why we are having these empowerment programs every year. So, do the sadhana in full, attend the empowerment programs when you get an opportunity, and speed up this release process. Gradually, what will happen is that all the sensitive reactions which you are talking about will all go away, and you will become an observer, a peaceful observer and a peaceful actor in your life. Now we'll do Nididhyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. Feel the divine vibrations.
With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. Beyond my physical body, beyond my emotions, beyond my thoughts, lies my essential self. My higher self is infinite and divine. From this moment onwards, I choose to increase my mental alertness and awareness. I choose to come out of my comfort zone and keep evolving continuously.
I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Wriggle your fingers, your toes, open and close your palms a few times. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. And cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, your cheeks, forehead, the top of your head, the back of your head, your neck, and slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So today, some powerful principles of sadhana have been given to you. Reflect on those principles and start applying them in your life. See, when such practical tips are given, you should use them effectively. Appreciation is one thing. Oh, Yogishri, thank you so much for this wonderful principle. I genuinely accept that bhav. But you should not stop with that. you should go and look at your life. How am I reacting in various situations? What's happening within me? How can I come out of my comfort zone? Small things, You start with small things. Like getting up and doing some exercises, some yoga, whatever it is, Build your habits very carefully using this principle and keep on growing every day. The day you are content in a negative way with in your comfort zone, that day you will stop growing. Remember this. Okay? I'll see you next week. We'll be getting into the various steps which he has so beautifully given in this verse. Thank you very much. Hari Om.